What if I told you that Pokemon cards, the same pieces of cardboard that we used to collect and put into binders as kids, are now being treated like high-stake investments, with prices rivaling gold, real estate, and stocks? How do we get here? And most importantly, where does it all end? Let's take a deep dive. When challenged to think of the most expensive and highly anticipated sets, not many come to mind, but I can guarantee you that there is one that is ever present in your mind. Recently, Prismatic Evolutions, released January 17th of 2025, is shaking the Pokemon trading card game world to its core. This set focuses on Eevee and its 8 evolutions. Coupled with these visually stunning, ultra rare cards are new things like Pokeballs and Master Ball variants, and is currently setting the stage for one of the most hyped and controversial releases in Pokemon TCG history. Pre-orders sold out within minutes. On release day, many collectors camped outside of their local game shops, only to find that stores had received less than 10 or even 15% of their requested stock. With so little product available at retail, the reselling market becomes a battleground. Prices skyrocket even before most players have a chance to even get one single pack in hand. The demand is through the roof, but the reality is clear. Prismatic Evolutions is just simply not available to many at MSRP. When supply is low, scalpers thrive. Within hours of Prismatic Evolution being released to the public, eBay and other reselling platforms were flooded with listings. Trainer boxes that initially were priced at $50 retail now sell for upwards of $110 to $130. Even something as simple as a poster collection, which is supposed to retail for $15, go for $30 plus. Sadly, even certain retailers are jumping on board this scalper train, refusing to list their items at MSRP, further pushing prices to absurd new levels and making it nearly impossible for collectors to participate in this new set. Some of the brick and mortar stores, including some major retailers, are also reportedly limiting stock artificially, sometimes even reserving packs for behind the counter sales. Their attempt to justify this artificial shortage and massive price hikes, they claim that the demand has outstripped production at an unprecedented rate. The Pokemon Company has addressed these concerns and stated that they are working to increase print runs, but for many collectors, the damage is already done. Even for those lucky few who have actually managed to get their hands on a few Prismatic Evolution booster packs, this set alone comes with a harsh reality. Some of the worst pull rates in Pokemon TCG history. If you want to complete a master set, be prepared for a long and expensive road. Special illustration rares, SIRs, appear 1 out of every 45 packs. The problem is, there's 32 different SIRs in Prismatic Evolutions. That means if you're specifically hunting for one particular SIR, your chances of pulling that card are 1 in 1,440 packs. That's over 160 ETBs. Meanwhile, Master Ball Reverse Hollows, a highly sought after addition to any collection, appear 1 in every 20. Hyper rare gold cards, 1 in 180. Despite, and partially due to these brutal odds, demand for high-end singles remain astronomical. That Umbreon EX SIR that everyone's talking about is already retailing for over $1,500, while the Sylveon SIR is holding pretty steady at about $530. Even the more affordable chase cards, like the Eevee Master Ball for instance, still command a price of about $50 to $60 raw. So that leads to question, how do we get here in the first place? Pokemon TCG market wasn't always like this. For years, it remained a beloved hobby, and booster packs were available on store shelves for as far as the eye can see. The most rare cards were available at a reasonable price for dedicated collectors. However, several key events over our recent past have dramatically reshaped the landscape of Pokemon TCG, leading us to this absurd price surge that we're seeing today. Let's take a trip back to 2016. Before the 2020 explosion, Pokemon saw another massive resurgence in 2016, fueled by the release of Pokemon Go. The mobile game took the world by storm, bringing millions of lapsed fans back into the franchise and sparking a renewed interest in all things Pokemon, including the TCG. Later that year, the Evolution set dropped. reintroducing base set artwork with modern mechanics. Nostalgic collectors rushed to get their hands on these cards, causing prices to spike. But unlike today, those price hikes didn't hold their value. Pokemon Go's popularity waned. Pokemon Company printed evolutions into oblivion, preventing artificial scarcity. The demand was real, but the infrastructure for high-stakes investing just simply wasn't there. That would come 4 years later. Fast forward to 2020. The world faced an unprecedented lockdown due to C-19. With people stuck at home, many rediscovered old hobbies, including Pokemon card trading. Influencers and celebrities like Logan Paul capitalized on its resurgence, showcasing vintage card openings and investing in rare graded cards. Their influence helped fuel what has been known as the Pokemon boom. This period saw a dramatic increase in vintage high-graded cards. A first edition PSA 10 Charizard, which once sold for a few $1,000s, suddenly reached six-figure sales. This excitement spread to modern sets, and Pokemon cards became an asset rather than just a game. In the wake of skyrocketing prices, Pokémon TCG firmly made its way into the investing market. Grading companies like PSA, Beckett, CGC were overwhelmed with card submissions, as collectors sought to increase their cards' value by encapsulating them in protective cases with official grades. Meanwhile, influencers and YouTubers continued to fuel the market. Pack breaks, where streamers open product live and sell individual packs to viewers, became commonplace, creating hype around every new release. This artificial demand pushed sealed product and rare pulls to record new highs. As of today, the Pokemon TCG game is firmly in uncharted territory. Economists predict that the trading card game market is expected to grow from $7.7 billion to more than $11.3 billion by 2030. Nostalgia, social media influencers, and a new generation of collectors are all contributing to the industry's explosive growth. But is this level of demand sustainable? Recent history suggests caution. Sets like Evolving Skies, which have seen booster boxes skyrocket to over $600, remains a prime example of how hype-based scarcity inflates prices beyond reason. Meanwhile, Hidden Fates, one of the most expensive modern sets, experienced a price correction after reprints hit the market, causing once premium cards to drop in price significantly. Many experts believe that we are witnessing another speculative boom, one where investors and flippers inflate prices, hoping for future gains. But what happens if Pokemon prints more product? What if collectors move on to the next big thing? Are we at risk for another market crash, much like the post-2020 dip that saw many sets lose significant amounts of value? As Pokemon TCG moves forward, the success or failure of Prismatic evolution is likely to influence how future sets are priced and distributed. Several new sets have already been announced for 2025. Heatwave Arena, arriving March 14th, introducing trainer Pokemon mechanics. Journey Together, releasing March 28th, focusing on trainer Pokemon duos. And of course, Glory of Team Rocket, launching April 18th, focusing on our classic villains in a modern setting. If the Pokemon Company chooses to reprint, we might see a cooling off in the market. However, if scarcity remains an issue, future sets could see a repeat of similar distribution struggles, continuing a cycle of scalping, reselling, and inflated prices. So what can we do as traders or collectors? Well, if you're a collector, a trader, or even an investor that's just trying to enjoy the hobby without necessarily breaking the bank, I believe there are a few things that we can do in order to navigate this uncertain market. Number one is being patient. Market trends show that prices tend to spike upon the release of a new set, but tend to even out over the next few months. Avoid fear of missing out. Try not to purchase at peak pricing and consider waiting for restocks and reprints. Number two, prioritize singles over sealed product. If you're chasing a specific card, buying that specific card might be more economically worth it than gambling on packs with low pull rates. This strategy alone reduces unnecessary spending and allows you to build your collection strategically. And finally, build relationships with your local shops or trade groups. Despite my earlier statement, all stores aren't evil, and many will actually hold product for their preferred customers and provide fairer prices than those of scalpers. Engaging with a good trade group or trade community can also help you out by securing cards through trades instead of relying solely on cash purchases. If you're in it for the long haul, try balancing your purchases between modern and vintage sets, graded and ungraded cards, or simply sealed versus raw singles. This helps mitigate risk while also doing its job to make sure that the hobby remains enjoyable. If there's one thing that's been glaringly obvious throughout all of this, is that the Pokemon TCG market is at a crossroads. If history tells us anything, market speculation can only go and last for so long before the market recorrects itself. But one thing remains undeniable. Pokemon is more than just a hobby. It's a culture to some, a global trading investment for others, and for many, a deeply personal and nostalgic experience. Will Pokemon cards continue to be one of the most sought after collectibles on the planet at these prices? Or are we just watching more speculative inflation waiting for that pop? The answer may depend on how the Pokemon company responds and manages demand, how collectors respond to pricing trends, and whether the passion for Pokemon can withstand the highs and lows of this unprecedented market. In the end, Pokemon cards are just that, cards. But whether they remain a nostalgic hobby or evolve into a financial battleground is up to us, the collectors. Are we holding on to history here, or are we feeling the next speculative bubble? Either way, the Pokeball's in your court. I want to thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the state of the Pokemon market. Whether you're a collector, an investor, or someone just fascinated by the wild world of Pokemon TCG, your perspective matters. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Pokemon is in a boom that will last? Or do you think that we're staring down the next big crash? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you have a topic in Pokemon TCG that you're curious about, drop that down below as well. And finally, if you've enjoyed this analysis and want more deep dives into the world of Pokemon, make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you never miss the next one. Until next time, Gym Trainers, keep chasing, keep collecting, and most importantly, go catch 'em all.